Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sen.
M15 PCA.
810-454.
Be sure to check us out over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join the discussion over on Discord, link in the description below. And if you're enjoying the videos, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit that bell for notifications. Next on the Xbox Summer Showcase, we have Perfect Dark, which has been off the radar for years. They showed some kind of like a cinematic trailer probably 4 years ago. And before that, the last game was on the original Xbox 360. And while that game was weird, it had a strange like cover mechanic, and it looked great for the time. It was like the textures on the ground, and I thought, everything was really cool. It just had a weird multiplayer, and I just think that cover mechanic just kind of ruined the game. Go back to the N64 version. The amount of hours I put into that multiplayer with my brothers is astronomical. Like because it was such a fun game because it had AI bots that you could program and do all kinds of, again, very much it was kind of based off of the 007 GoldenEye kind of multiplayer. But the guns were so much fun. The laptop gun that you can set up like sentries was absolutely my favorite thing in the world to do. I just like the idea of like setting up ambushes. It was such a fun game. Fast forward to now, we get this trailer and we got to talk about it. This angle of Joanna is the worst angle to ever take a photo of anybody. It does nobody any favors. And it just magnifies that jawline. Oh my goodness, that thing can chisel concrete. It is such a strong, just giant jaw. And that angle makes it worse than it actually is. She still has a pretty face. Her face is very pretty. But that jawline and the haircut, Joanna's always had a really short kind of hair. But again, it does this shape of her face no favors. Oh my goodness. And it's just like, but here's the thing. They chose to make it this way. They see the trailer. They could have did a straight on shot. Down up is a better angle for everybody. And make it just, they decided, no, we want to showcase this Buzz Lightyear, the Crimson Chin, just massive jaw. And it's just like, why? There's so many female video game protagonists where it's usually the main good guy character for some reason has to have this really rockin' jaw. And people will be like, here's the face model. And then they show a picture of a woman that looks nothing like this. And it's like, what the hell happened? Why did they literally take the worst attributes of a face model and then just magnify them? Also, they chose this face model. It's not like Joanna Dark is a real person. They went out of their way to purposely make her look this way, which is kind of weird. And yes, are there women out there with gigantic, ridiculous jawlines? Yes, they exist in real life. But no, it doesn't exist in real life. Joanna Dark. So I don't understand why we have to focus on hyper realism just in the way they look. Why don't we focus on hyper-realism on every other part of the game where they're unable to jump across buildings and do all these amazing things and beat up 10 guys in one room? Oh, that can be unrealistic. That can be fantasy world, but man, that face, it has to be real. I don't get it. End of that. Don't want to talk about it anymore. Gameplay. Very Deus Ex Machina. Have you ever played those games? I got that vibe from it. I do like all the gadgets because that was another big part of the Perfect Dark game was very 007. Like, oh, you have to use a little camera to fly through the air ducts to take a picture of a document and hack a computer through like a terminal, like all that kind of stuff. Or before you go into the building, you can shut off the cameras or disable, the alarms. You could run in guns a-blazing, makes the game a million times harder. Or you can do the really cool spy stuff. We see that in the trailer. We see that Joanna does like a voice print recognition thing to like get into a room. Super cool. I love all the cool spy stuff. The combat, we see like there's a lot of parkour. And I don't know if I like that or not. Hopefully it isn't obnoxious and it's easy to use. I remember Mirror's Edge was fun because you could run through a level really fast if you knew exactly what you were doing. So it's kind of like a speed trial type game. You got to balance that with combat. Since this has like a lot of gunplay, I don't know. That's going to be a tough thing to do when you add like that type of traversal mechanic, and that plays into multiplayer. well, how's multiplayer going to work? Are you going to be able to jump and bounce off of walls and do all that kind of stuff? And how's that going to be balanced? Will it be overpower with movement, supersede gunplay? And see, that's a tough thing to do. The setting, I don't know where in the timeline this is. Is this a complete reboot or is this a sequel? Because the Perfect Dark that was on the 360, I believe, was a prequel. I believe. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a long time. But we get the traditional Carrington Corporation. Because again, in the Perfect Dark world, there's aliens. And like that becomes like the main focus at the end of the N64 game. Like you're actually fighting actual aliens. So I don't know if they're going to go that direction with it, because like this is like very political. Oh, the world isn't what you think it is, and the people in power are controlling everyone. Like, is it the aliens? Because they literally look exactly like his name was Elvis, which is hilarious. But they're like the little gray heads, and then they have this big nasty looking like, you know, traditional bad guy aliens. But as far as gameplay goes, looks interesting, looks fun, looks dynamic. I love all of the, you know, scanning voice lines and using gadgets and doing all that kind of cool stuff. The HUD is very busy. There's a lot of things going on, but I think they should have, it's useful information because you're a cool spy. So you're trying to look up maps and look at data files. I love all of that. Can't just ignore that giant jawline. It is what it is. At least she's not as ugly as other characters. Like in Fable, that girl's just ugly from top to bottom. There's no prettiness in that girl. At least Joanna has a pretty face. Just has it's got a rockin' jaw. Gameplay is what really matters in the end of the day, and the gameplay looks pretty cool. Definitely going to play this, you know, Game Pass. I get to try all these games anyway, so I'm definitely going to play it, give it a shot. Hope multiplayer. We need a multiplayer trailer. Just don't go down the route of like, I like special abilities and I don't like special abilities. Like, you know, then it becomes kind of like a class-based shooter. I don't know. That's just speculation on multiplayer, but multiplayer was a big part of Perfect Dark, and I kind of want to see how they're going to play that. Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching the video. Remember, liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting on the video really helps out a lot. It gets the video spread around more people get to see the videos, and we get to make more videos for you guys. So thank you, and we appreciate every single one of you guys.